Hey girlies or guys, welcome to another episode of the Soldier in Me podcast. In this episode, we are talking about confidence and consistency. I'm your host, Tania Michelle, and I hope the soldier in me brings out the soldier in you. Let's get into episode 3. All right, guys, we have first got to start with a little catch up because this past week has been crazy. Let's see, where do I start? Early last week, did I talk about my school visit? No. So I went on a school visit. Not last week, but the end of the week before the week of last week. Does that make sense? So I went on a school visit. I went to a school's field day. It was in Adamsville, Alabama. I went to the field day. They ended up buying my book. So I gave out tons of books. We took tons of pictures. I have tons of content that I still haven't uploaded or posted, but that was super fun. And I'm just so grateful that I had the confidence enough to create the book, promote the book, share the story, because sometimes when you create something, you yourself don't feel super proud of it. And I'm guilty of that because I'm the type of person that, I create a lot. There's a lot of things that I create that I'm like, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Like I'm not going to physically tell anybody. But I've learned that when you're trying to build confidence in whatever you're building, your brand or a product or even a service, you have to believe in what you create or what you're capable of doing or that specific skill. Because if you don't, no one's going to purchase it. No one's going to believe in it. So I'm starting to learn to talk more highly of my book like, oh, it's just something I self-published. No, I need to stop saying that. This is a book that I created. Yes, I self-publish it, but it is created to help you and your child overcome such and such and such. Or this story will help you, blah, 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 blah. I'm really learning to truly be confident in whatever craft I make and to not be afraid to tell people whether they think I'm doing too much or whether they are just like, even if they don't like it, you just have to learn to speak highly of whatever it is that you do. And so often as women and really as people in general, we'll do something and we don't feel confident in what we do, but we'll feel confident in what someone else does. So how'd that work? Past the school visit, I went and got my hair done. The braids are out. We are back to the bone straight hair. And the reason why is because I'm taking headshots this upcoming week that you'll probably hear about in my next podcast episode. But taking care of your appearance is part of confidence. I think that it's okay to want to look good because when you look good, you feel good and you probably stand taller. You look stronger, you do look stronger because you're not moping. You're not sad. You look put together. And when you look put together, you can feel more put together. And although looks aren't everything that should be a part of how confident you feel, it definitely holds some weight into your confidence. So I went and got my hair done and I love my hairstylist, don't get me wrong, but she burnt me. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing you the scar that's on my cheek and no, it's not makeup. It's literally a burn mark from a wand. And last night, y'all, the night before I got my hair done, I was so upset. No, the night that I got my hair done, I was so upset. I was so upset. My confidence was so shot because I was like, how in the world I'm gonna get my hair done? And now I have a burn on my face. I worked so hard at clearing my skin. And if you watch my vlogs on my YouTube channel, you'll know because I buy skincare products. I'm showing you guys my skincare routine, what's working as of right now because my skin has been glowing and looking so great. But part of my confidence has always been my skin, my acne, my scars from my acne. And as soon as I started clearing my skin, and really it just hasn't just been me clearing my skin. I think that as I've gotten older, I've grown out of that acne phase that a lot of people go through. But now taking care of the after effect of what all the acne has caused from the hyperpigmentation and the scarring and all of that, the discoloration, I have been feeling more confident with it clearing up. But now I have a burn on my face. And last night I just felt so low and I felt like it was a setback in building my self-confidence. But I had to realize that things happen. And just because something happens and it might affect how you look, that doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. There are people who have far worse burns than I have. There are people who wish their burn was a lot tinier. They had a pimple on their face, because you have to remember, confidence, yes, deals with your outer appearance, but you have to learn to love yourself in whatever state you're in. Whether you have acne or whether people are talking about you because you have acne. And I feel like that's where confidence hits a wall, is that sometimes it's not even about that you don't like yourself. It's the moment that someone else tells you that something is not pretty, that you start thinking it's not pretty. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's not even just the fact that sometimes we didn't even think it was a flaw until someone else pointed out it was a flaw. So we have to go back to the drawing board and realize that, listen, God made me this way, or this happened to me for a reason. One, it probably could have been worse. And two, why is this one flaw making me feel less than of myself? Why do I feel like because I've gained 10 pounds, which I did last week, which I never do. I stepped on the scale, guys. I'm not going to tell you my weight, but I have been at this one weight forever, or at least really the last several months, because I've been working out consistently. But the happy weight has been coming back on me again, because Cash and I like to eat, and we've been traveling and eating snacks on the road. So I stepped on the scale, which I never do, but it was on in the bathroom, and I was like, let me just step on the scale. I stepped on it and I was 10 pounds higher, 10 pounds higher than what I was the last time I've ever stepped on a scale, or really when I got my physical for MEPS. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, because I don't look 10 pounds heavier. Maybe it's muscle, don't know. Did not do the full like, BMI, my mass. I didn't check all of that, but I was a little down. I was like, Cash, like I'm getting fat. And he was like, don't say that. I'm like, you're right. I shouldn't say that, because who cares? Do I feel confident? Yes. Just because the number on my scale or something else told me that I wasn't where I needed to be made me feel down. That should not be our case, guys. That should not be our case. We should love ourselves for where we're at, who we are, all the time. God created us. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to have scars, bumps, bruises. But honestly, those flaws are what make us beautiful. So that was just a little recap of my last week and what made me choose this topic, because I put this poll on my Instagram page, Soldier and Me. Go follow me if you don't follow me on Instagram. But I put the topics down on what I wanted to talk about. And honestly, last week, this is not what I was going to talk about today. Nope. I was going to talk about something else. I was going to talk about what you should do when you don't know what to do. But after this week started unfolding, I was like, no, because of your confidence, you'll be able to make better decisions on what to do. And whether that decision you make is right or wrong, you will have at least said, no, I was confident in it. Yes, I made a mistake, but that's okay. That's where confidence comes in. Because when you're confident, making mistakes don't feel as heavy. They don't feel as heavy because you knew that you put everything and your all into making a solid decision. And I think it's when we're on the fence about things that we're like, oh, maybe I should just did this. Maybe I should did that. That's not confidence, baby. We have to learn to make decisions and be 100% about them. It's 100% or none at all. You know, God says in the Bible, yet your yes be yes, yet let your no's be no's. We have got to let our yes be yeses and our no's be no's. We have got to learn to be confident in every decision we make, in every way and every form of who we are. Because without confidence, we're going to keep making limited decisions and half answers and showing up partially. No, you need to walk in every room like you were meant to be there. I know you've heard that quote. You need to walk into every room like you were meant to be there. So confidence for women, like anything else, is a combination of mindset, skills, and habits. I'm looking at my notes. If you're watching me on YouTube, I'm looking at my notes. However, societal pressures and unique challenges may require tailored strategies. Here are some ways women can build and maintain their confidence. Number one, we need to embrace self-acceptance. We need to accept ourselves as who we are, whether you have a burn scar like me or, and it's not even a scar yet. It's a scar right now, but I hope it doesn't scar afterwards. I've been taking care of it. Whether you have a burn scar like me, whether you have acne like I do and once had horribly, whether you have short hair, falling out hair, thinning edges, big forehead, you have to accept yourself as who you are. with all your strengths and all your imperfections, because God made you you, and no one, I mean, no one else is going to be you, and no one else is going to have that same imperfection or perfection. I like to call imperfections perfections because they're perfectly made for you. So practice self-compassion and avoid all that harsh self-criticism. Okay? If you have to wear weave so your hair looks better, wear weave so your hair looks better. If you have to wear makeup sometimes to cover up those imperfections, wear makeup to cover up those imperfections. But just know that even if you don't wear it, even if you don't wear the weave, you are still beautiful no matter what society says. Okay? There's this one girl that I follow on YouTube. Her name is Sophie, and she shaves her head bald, like completely bald. She's been bald for as long as I've been following her on YouTube, and she is one of the most confident people, or at least I don't know her personally, but from her YouTube videos, this girl's confident. She's smiling, she's joyful, and she's bald, guys. She doesn't need hair to make her feel confident, but maybe that's not you. Maybe you want the hair. So go get a wig, go get your eyebrows done. And if you don't have money to do it, figure out a cheap way to do it at home. Just don't go crazy plucking, okay? Figure out what you need to do to help start with building your self-confidence. But once you start, now you have to do the inner work. Once you start with the outer appearance, you got to do the inner work, at least simultaneously, if not after, okay? Because confidence is not just about how you look. How you look is only part of it. You can get in a car accident and ruin all of your features. Are you going to be confident? Are you going to figure out a way to build your confidence back up? Like, this was unexpected. Having a scar on my face was unexpected. I could not let that make me feel less than of myself. You can't. You really can't. We have got to be more careful with how we talk about ourselves and what we say is ugly, because there's someone else wishing they could be in your situation. There truly is. And I don't want to make your issues feel like they don't matter, because they most certainly do. But I'm just saying, if you put things into perspective, you won't feel as bad about your situation sometimes. Sometimes we make our situations feel like it's the heaviest thing in the world. It's the only thing that matters. And I can guarantee you, it doesn't. It doesn't. So challenge those negative beliefs. Is number 2. You need to identify and challenge limiting beliefs about your abilities and your worth. Replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmations and realistic perspectives. Okay? Realistic perspectives. What can you fix over time? It might not happen overnight, but as it slowly gets better, as your acne slowly goes away, as the scars slowly go away, you will feel better about yourself. But are you fixing the inside? Because that's number 3. You need to focus on your strengths, okay? Focus on your strengths, your achievements, and the qualities that you can be proud of. Because your outer appearance is only going to age and get wrinkled with time. Let's be honest. So enjoy yourself for who you are right now, because I don't want to say things are only going to get worse as far as your appearance, but they're most certainly not going to be the same. So enjoy what you have while you have it, right? So list some of your strengths. Write down the things that you're grateful for. If you love your eyebrows or your eyes or your lashes or your lips, if you love that, write that down and tell yourself that you love it. I love me for my beautiful hair. I love me for my beautiful, luxurious lips. I love me for my eye color. Those are things that you can list and be proud of. The flaws are going to be there, but do the good attributes of who you are outweigh those flaws? That's what building confidence is all about. Regularly remind yourself of your strengths and build some skills. This is the way that I like to build confidence. Build some skills. Start a podcast. Start a YouTube channel. Make videos, inspire other people. You'll feel more confident when you start to show up as your true, authentic self. Continue learning. There was a fly, if you're watching on YouTube, that just went right in front of my face and I got a little distracted. Continue learning. Engage in lifelong learning to keep your skills sharp and relevant. You can take courses, you can read books, and seek new experiences to expand your knowledge. And when you become smarter, more intelligent, and more confident in your knowledge, your overall confidence and appearance will start to match. Okay, it'll start to match. And my final thing is to build a supportive environment along with those practical habits, okay? You need people in your life that are gonna tell you and maybe affirm you of certain things. Not all the time. Don't just say this is all I need all the time is for people to tell me that I'm beautiful, to tell me they love me. No, because that's not going to be the case in your life. There's going to be people that don't love you, and there's going to be people that love you but not able to tell you all the time. Learn to tell yourself, but then also surround yourself with supportive people who love you too. You know, your family, your friends, your counterparts at work, your coworkers, whatever, colleagues, not anything, but just make sure you don't have people around you that are making you feel less than because of your flaws. I grew up in a predominantly white school back in Georgia. And growing up, a lot of the white people have like these skin thinny noses. My nose has always been flatter and wider, but most black people have flatter and wider noses. And that was one thing that I used to be really self-conscious about when I went to school. I used to try to smile and like squeeze my nose in so my nose could look thinner. Guys, ain't that crazy? Like, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. But I realized growing up, after I passed that middle school phase, I was like, my nose is cute. My little flat, chunky nose is cute, okay? I don't need a thin, pointy nose to feel confident. I was tall and skinny in school, and people used to call me Turtle because I wore like this bob haircut and almost like looked like a turtle shell, and then I had a long neck. I was tall and thin. So that used to get to me. And then eventually I started to laugh at it. I was like, you know what? I like turtles because they're slow and steady and they win the race, okay? So sometimes your flaws and your imperfections that other people point out just might be because they are flawed and imperfected, which they are, because everyone is flawed and imperfected. So when you start to realize that half the time when people are pointing out the imperfections that you have, it's because they may have that same imperfection. They may not feel confident about their nose. So they had to come and pick on yours. But honey, your nose is perfect, okay? Your hair is perfect. Your face is perfectly imperfect, okay? You are perfect in all of your imperfections. So this podcast episode is going to be a little bit shorter because I have to get dressed and go to work. But I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this episode because I truly want you to understand that your confidence, you got to figure out a way to build it. Your confidence matters. You need to love yourself for who you are. Tell yourself all the things that you love about it. So that way you can start to believe it. It starts with your mindset. Confidence and consistency go hand in hand. I didn't even touch on that. Yeah, but they do. Confidence and consistency go hand in hand. You have to show up for yourself every single day. And on the days you can't, that's when you lean on your family, your friends, your significant other to help build you back up. You need to be consistent in telling yourself how much you love it. You need to be consistent at working out, going to the gym, so that you can feel confident in your body. And the thing is, I have learned that you don't need to go to the gym to become skinny. You don't need to go to the gym to become muscular, toned. No. Going to the gym shows yourself that you care. And that's what builds confidence. Show yourself that you care about yourself to even want to show up and work on it. If you have flaws from the way that your body looks because you're not the most fit, go to the gym. Work on it. Be consistent at it. Don't let being skinny be your goal, but let showing up for yourself be a goal. Let being consistent for showing up for you be a goal for yourself this year. I'm holding you accountable to that, okay? I need to stop saying okay. But that is it for this podcast, guys. Show up confidently and consistently for yourself. I love you, and you already know Jesus loves you way, way more. So all those imperfections don't even matter to him. He says you are perfectly made in him. Okay? Okay. I'm done saying okay. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope the soldier in me and all of my past self-hatred, self-inflictions, all of that I got to share with you guys, hopefully let you know that you're not alone in any way, shape, or form. You're not alone. We all have flaws. We all have insecurities. but we have got to learn to live with them, live through them, and maybe even better them. And it doesn't always come down to plastic surgery, okay? You don't have to do plastic surgery to fix your flaws. Sometimes you just need to show up consistently for yourself. And when you do, you'll be more confident. That is it for this podcast episode. I hope the soldier in me helps to inspire the soldier in you. And take these tips, use them, actually use them. And I'll see you guys in episode 4. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Tania Michelle, and I'll see you next week in the Soldier in Me podcast. Love you guys. Bye.